Hey, all you zombie fans, welcome back to Season 3 of the Zurvivalist. I am your host, Matt Jarbo, here today with Morgan from San Antonio, Texas. Morgan, thank you very much for being on the Season 3 premiere. How are you today?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I am great. Can't you tell from my energy?
Oh, yes.
I've had a lot of caffeine.
I'm kind of pumping up in here, that's why.
Yeah, zombies. All right. So, tell us a bit about yourself. What organization you work for?
I am with a zombie response team, which was just, it's kind of a baby organization, but we're kind of growing a little fast. We just started at the end of last year, end of 2010. So, but yeah, we're picking up the team and we're excited. We like it.
Now, what is what do you guys do normally? Do you just like promote zombie awareness? How to be prepared in case of an outbreak?
Well, yeah, all of the above, and kind of what we want to do is, nobody takes the zombies or zombie apocalypse seriously, and honestly, as much as fun as we like to have with it, it actually can be a real possibility if, a virus breaks out that turns people into these, zombies. I mean, think about the ant. I don't know if you've heard this story, but there's this ant where this fungus takes a hold of this ant and basically makes it into a zombie, and the fungus forces this ant to do whatever the fungus wants it to do, and then basically it makes the ant attach to a plant and then explode with more spores so that those spores can attack more ants. So, I mean, if a fungus can do that to an ant, who knows what, other man-made type of bacteria or viruses or whatever could, affect humans that way. So you never know.
No, it sounds a lot like the flood from Halo. So that's good. So I guess with those,
right.
With all that in mind, and obviously you know your stuff, let's get down to it then. Let me ask you the question why we're here. How would you survive a zombie outbreak?
Well, we've talked about this in depth, and we have a few comrades here in San Antonio, Texas. We have bug-out bags, and we're going to take our bug-out bags, where that has all our basic survival stuff that'll let us get through the first, week or two, along with, a bunch of pistols, handguns, a bunch of ammo. I mean, we have shelves and shelves and shelves of ammo at this point. Like, we're just stocking up. So, of course, this is Texas, so we can do that.
Yeah.
But basically, we're just going to jump in our cars, meet at a certain place, and go from there. We're very much about the team atmosphere. We think that having a small team is gonna be what gets you through, at least a little while. We don't advocate being by yourself because you can't do everything. And we, one of our comrades is an EMT, he's going to be extremely useful to us.
Yes.
If anybody breaks a leg or whatever, we all have different skills that we're going to bring to the team. So, basically from there, we're just going to survive. I mean, we can theorize and we can do, as much as we can to keep ourselves as prepared as we can be, but until the time comes, we can't really say, well, I'm going to, shoot 100 zombies. And
well, no, some people think that, too, that they'll just kill all the zombies and that will be okay, not understanding how many of them there are. So, okay, so you said that you got a bunch of friends and you guys are going to meet in a certain location and then go. Is it like, are you guys, because I know you're in San Antonio, and that's kind of like eastern central Texas, right?
Right.
So,
yeah, central, yeah.
Where in Texas would you go? Because Texas, I mean, it's a huge state. So, and it's not very populated and, outside of the four major cities.
Exactly, and that's what's great about Texas. We are in San Antonio, and we know the second that this stuff happens, it's going to be complete chaos. So we want to get as far away from the city as possible. We actually have a friend out about 30 miles south who has about 35 acres of land, and we were thinking of bunkering there for a little while, making that our home base, our headquarters, going out and doing what we can to help, that kind of thing, but really kind of bunkering down and just seeing what happens.
So, okay, so you said you have a bunch of guns, which is awesome because guns are necessary.
Yes.
And you have an EMT. Now, does anyone else in your team, like, do you have specific jobs assigned to people? Will there be like, the hunter-gatherer? Will there be like the builder, like, the mechanic, kind of like a ragtag, like we're looking at like Left 4 Dead style,
Yeah,
class-based?
actually, yeah, we do. It's interesting. We actually have a friend who is a woodworker, and we have actually my boyfriend Josh, who's the original founder of the Zombie Response Team. He knows mechanics, and he cars and motorcycles and that kind of thing. So he's going to be really good in that area, and then I guess we're just going to assign from there. We do have people that, also Josh is a really good shot, so he'll probably be the hunter-gatherer too. People are going to be having, several different roles, I think. But it's just kind of how it goes at the time. We can have these roles now, but we have no idea, what we're going to transform into once the time comes. So.
Exactly. But okay, so let's think. So let's say this, because zombie response team. So let's kind of like play that up here for a second, because I'm kind of curious. So would you guys like, if you got the call, like let's say you're driving to your location or you're there for a while and you have CB radio, and someone says, you get a call saying we're in a nearby town, we're trapped. Would you go save them? Like, would you guys be the response team and head on out and like try to save survivors?
Yeah, actually, that's something that we would definitely consider. I mean, obviously, it's a situation, and, we're not going to just bust into a situation not knowing what's going to go, not knowing what's happening. We actually just wrote a blog post that was, stop, collaborate, and listen, from Ice Ice Baby. But anyway, it's a good song, but it's also what he's saying is, that phrase is really true. We'll get there. We're going to, stop and look around and listen and observe what's happening before we do anything. I mean, we'll go there, we'll see what's going to happen, because, if there's really zombies there, we want to get rid of the zombies, obviously, but we also, want to keep everyone safe and, know their survivors and stuff. So we're going to get as much information first, through the CB radio or whatever, and then proceed from there, so.
What about long-term plans? Like, because people that, because eventually, society is going to reform. Would you want to be like a staple in that society? Meaning, would you want to like stake a claim somewhere and then kind of like gradually build that out and then, recreate some form of township, using like the initial, like the ideals of your response team as like a basis for a new society?
Yeah, I think it would be important. Obviously, like you were saying, we're going to have to rebuild at some point. At that time, like we were saying before, we can't do this all by ourselves. So we're going to find the people that are going to have the skills and the abilities and the attitude or whatever to be able to help rebuild the society by, agriculture and, building solar panels, wind power, all that kind of stuff to get people up and running again that, to the point where we can get back to normal civilization or, and also forage for whatever's left. I mean, since we wouldn't be directly in San Antonio anymore, it'd be important to kind of think, with such a big city, San Antonio, or New York or LA or wherever you are, I think it's going to be a little bit harder to build in those big cities.
Yes.
To rebuild for sure, but, to start out with the little towns, everywhere, where we all kind of communicate with each other and help each other out kind of thing might be a little better strategy. But yeah, that's definitely something we would think about doing, when the time comes.
Sure. Would you guys stay in Texas, or would you ever, because southern Texas is not the most lush on habitat.
Right.
Northern Texas is okay, but then after that, would you guys consider going to more like into the, maybe more the fertile hunting grounds of like Tennessee and like, I don't want to say Oklahoma, but, more like a little bit northeast to where it's more, there's more room to live off the land versus parts of Texas, which are just like a giant dust bowl.
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good point. We've had a huge drought here over the summer, and it doesn't really rain all that much to begin with. So we are definitely going to have to, go north or east or northeast or whatever to find that, to find the animals and the water and things that we need. I mean, we have these big jerry cans where we're probably going to be, making trips to fill, but there's also the are we going to have the gas to get there? Are we going to, how are we going to have a horse? How are we going to get the transportation and stuff? So I think you're right. I mean, we're definitely going to have to move somewhere, or at least bring those resources to us in some way.
Yes.
But I guess it all really depends on how long the zombie apocalypse lasts, because nobody really knows or is theorized on that.
Well, they always say it's going to be, end of the world, apocalyptic, that kind of thing. But it really depends on how well we're prepared and we're ready to respond to the zombies in your guys' case. So I guess, because we're running out of time here, so let me just ask you the question I ask everyone at the end. What would you do if you were bit?
I would have to be shot right in the head twice. Double tap.
You just immediately, would you wait to turn, or would you just walk out back?
No, not at all. No, I would want to be shot right away. I don't want to be going through that. No way.
Well, that's it's one of the answers we get. We get a couple odd ones from time to time. Like one guy said he would let a science experiment on him. Can't knock him for that.
Well, I would let them do that, but after they shoot me.
After they shoot you, exactly. So, all right, that's all the time we have for today. What is your website so we can give that out to our listeners here on the show?
It's zombieresponseteam.net.
.net, and you guys are on Twitter as well?
Yeah, we're on Twitter. It's twitter.com/zombieresponse, and we're also on Facebook. It's facebook.com/zombieresponse.
Awesome. So we'll definitely have that in the show notes. Thank you very much for being here. It's been a lot of fun finally doing another episode after about a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for making the time.
You're welcome. And for all you guys listening at home, you guys can find us on Zurvivalist.com or on Twitter at KZOM Radio or Facebook at KZOM Radio. And thank you very much for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for another new episode of The Zurvivalist. My name is Matt Jarbo, and happy zombie hunting. Bye.